What's going on all the different platforms that we are back. We are finally back on the Kingpin show. The previous show, I had a family death, so I wasn't able to make it. But these guys held it down. Dunn definitely held it down for the mental health show the previous time, but it was so impactful we had to do it again. But before I even get into it, Dunn, what's going on, bro? What we back at it?
Yep, back at it again, man. Appreciate you. Come back on and join this stream. Like you said earlier, we know that you had to deal with a death in the family. Still condolences to your family and things of that nature. But we glad that you was able to join this one, and I'm just excited about this whole episode. I've been excited all day. It's just like a bunch of butterflies being in my stomach, just jumping up and down all day. So I'm really geared up to see. I'm really in expectation to see what this episode is going to produce on tonight.
Yes, sir. We all of us we decided to come back and do another episode about the topic of mental health because it happens so much in our community to where we're all in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We deal with the mental health problems on day-to-day basis. We deal with it in a lot of situations. We actually had a situation with the ruling on I can't pronounce his name at the moment right now. You know who I'm talking about. They ruled not guilty in a situation that's a mental situation right now that is taking place in our country. So it's different topics that you can discuss when it comes to mental health. But I'm gonna let Dunn decide where do we want to start this show off with as far as the mental health topic. Where do you want to kind of lead this off?
First and foremost, I just want to start off with a prayer that God will touch this episode and that it will impact the lives of whoever's listening, even the people that's not listening. I just pray even now that they will be impacted and that this episode will change somebody's perspective because we'll never get to the point of life to where we cannot learn anything new and that we can't grow. But that depends on us. So I just pray on tonight that whoever's listening, whoever's watching, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook, that you enjoy the show and really be engaged into the show. Like I've said before, your interaction, your presence is very important to us. And we want to hear from the audience. The audience is the voice. And we're here to hear you guys out and to talk about what's on your minds because you are just as important to this show as we are. So I just wanted to start off with that on tonight.
Yes, sir. I totally agree with that. And like he stated, this is a very important thing for us to get your guys' feedback in this show because one of the ultimate things is this is not just a topic that we personally both deal with. Everyone has their own mental health situation that they're dealing with, whether it's a good place, a bad place, anything. So, especially with certain situations coming up, like the holidays coming up, there are some people that goes through this every single year of having to deal with maybe having a loss in the family. I mean, I'm not gonna say that we're out of the pandemic, but it's in a different space than it was last year at this time. So that's one of the most important things as well, because you have to deal with this is the second year where we have not technically gotten over the pandemic, to be honest. We're still kind of adjusting. I think a lot of us are probably, I'm not sure how your family's doing it done. A lot of us are probably getting back into being around each other for the first time since this pandemic. So, that's another struggle of, hey, a lot of people were enclosed to each other, away from each other last holiday this time around. So, that's another thing that can be up for grabs. And we actually decided we were going to come back because one person that is honestly near and dear to both myself and Don. Don's a big time Alabama fan. I'm sure if you are on his page, you've seen him talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide on a regular. And the same particular player, he's playing for the Atlanta Falcons. He's actually been out for the last, I want to say, 3 games. Receiver Calvin Ridley, he's took a mental break actually. And, from a fan perspective, at first I remember me and Don had many conversations about it. I was like, man, this man, he don't want it no more. I'm sick of this. I'm ready for him to go and everything. And then when you hear a person going through mental health issues, it's like, man, you can deal with these things even on the biggest stage. So even our own personal struggles we may go through on a day-to-day basis, when you see it on a bigger scale, on a bigger level, like an NFL player, it makes you feel like, man, I see and talk about my own struggles on a day-to-day basis. I can't imagine what an NFL player goes through on a day-to-day.
Right.
How was that for you when you first heard that news?
Well, it for me, it just put me back into perspective that the importance of mental health has no respect to person. And what I mean by that is that this is a player who basically is in a different bracket. He's making millions of dollars. His only job in life is to go out, one day out the week and catch a football. One of the easiest jobs in the world. I mean, you can't really beat that. And yet he's having, mental issues. And that goes to show me that no matter how much money you make, or no matter what status you may be, whether you be rich or middle class, lower class, it really doesn't matter. Mental health is still, it could potentially be an issue if it remains unchecked. And I just believe that he got to the point to where he couldn't take it anymore. People try to mask, whatever they're going on through, outlets and hobbies and things of this nature. His hobby was playing football, and he got to the point to where he couldn't really do it anymore. He said, you know what? I'm tired of acting like everything is okay. I'm going to take this mask off. I got to deal with this before it gets worse. So we should really take what he did as a testament of transparency, because one thing about mental health is you got to be transparent. In order for you to deal with the things that you go through, you have to be transparent. You have to be real, because I believe that your mind is the fork in the road between reality and fact. What may be fact to one person may not be fact to another person. What may be somebody's reality may not be your reality. And so in the case of Calvin Ridley, like I said, I just believe he got to the point to where he was tired of wearing that mask. Like everything is okay. Just because he's smiling and having a good time doesn't mean he's smiling mentally. We can't be phased about what our outward appearance looks like, but we have to be more focused on what the inward is. And maybe in his inwards, he was miserable. He was depressed. He had a whole lot of things on his mind that he had to deal with. And he said, you know what? As much as I love this game, as much as I love football, I cannot, keep going like this. I can't keep putting this mask on and putting on this persona that everything is okay. So until I get myself together, I have to step to the side. I have to put myself to the side and deal with whatever is going on. And that's really and not only did he deal for himself, but he did for the team and the organization. He didn't want to put them in a perilous situation, because, like, God forbid, he out there playing and he gets a career in the injury or a season in the injury, and the team now has to adjust. They don't know what's going on. So he really made a decision not only for himself, but he made a decision for the team. And so you have to realize that at the end of the day, that no matter what you have to do, no matter what you have to lay down, is that this right here, it's got to remain intact.
That is a great point that you just made. Let me go to the comments. Devon, what's going on, bro? This is my guy right here, everyone. You've probably seen him do several shows with me as far as football. So that's my guy there, man. You guys make sure you be his friend on Facebook. The guy got a big future coming up. Excuse me, guys. I ain't got some time. My bad. But
it happens.
Yeah, but I love the point that you just made as far as where he's on a big time level of this is a person that has what basically a simple job as catching the ball. I love how you tie that into sometimes you have to step away from your own, just what may benefit others to get you together, because that even goes into your own personal career, your own personal life, your everything that you do. If you don't have an opportunity to take the steps that you need, then that's why you hear people say don't be afraid to take a mental day. Don't be afraid to take the time to you to get you together. Because one thing about it, that's even going to work. Your job is going to be happy as long as that job is being executed at that moment. But if the minute that you're stepping back or you're not showing what you're used to showing, okay, then they're going to be okay. Well, your performance is falling off. Everything's okay. They're going to think that you're not doing something for a reason of you don't want to do it or you just don't have the desire to do it. When the reality is, you could be fighting a battle in your head that no one else knows about. And that's where the problem of when you ignore your mental health comes into play. It's never okay to ignore your mental health. I don't care what's the situation. It could be a minor situation to most of the world, but if it's a major one in your head, don't ignore what's going on in your mind. Because at the end of the day, the longer you ignore it, the worse it gets, the worse your performance get, and everything at some point or another will come to a complete stop. One thing about life will sit you down when you're not in the best space mentally. So you never want to put yourself in the predicament that you're that unhappy to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm checking out on everything. If it takes time for you to get yourself together, then that's the best thing to do. Another great example, we mentioned Calvin Ridley, another individual we saw this year go through the mental health thing. And let me also point this out to our viewing audience. This mental health thing just really started becoming a major topic of discussion this year because athletes are actually going. We had Kevin Love and guys like that from the NBA mentioned that they had. You said who else?
DeMar DeRozan.
Oh yeah, DeMar DeRozan. He also mentioned as well. But you've seen people take it more serious even this year. Prime example, earlier this year we saw Naomi Osaka, who came first off winning the Grand Slam title, say she was mentally checked out, and she tried to come back in the summer, and you could still see that she was out of it mentally. She broke down and took another break. So it's never okay to force yourself to do something because everyone else is saying, okay, Nate, you need to get back to doing this. Don, you need to get back to doing this. That doesn't matter. If you're not where you should be mentally, don't do it for the sake of everyone else. Sometimes you have to be selfish when it comes to your mental, because if you don't become selfish when it comes to your mental, you will stay stagnant for the rest of your life, or it'll make you fall off in your performance of any type. Because again, you're ignoring your mental to please others. Never do that to yourself.
And that's so true. And I like what you said right there. Sometimes you have to be selfish when it comes to your mental, because nobody else is going to care about your mental except for you. You know, we don't live in a society where people are mind readers. You know, nobody is going to read your mind to see what's wrong with you. You have to figure out what's wrong with you. You have to figure out whether or not you're in a good headspace. And like I said before, no matter what status you may find yourself in, you can have all the money in the world and still be miserable. I mean, look at Robin Williams, the movie actor. You know, he out here making all these comedy movies. Everybody think that he's having a good time. He's laughing, he's smiling, but on the inside, he's like, man, I'm tired of life. I don't want to do this more. He ended up killing himself. So that's one of the things that can happen when you don't check your mental. You don't make sure that you're okay mentally. You don't make sure that everything in your life is lining up. And I'm not, we're not saying all this stuff to scare anybody or induce fear in anybody, but mental health is very important in life. You know, your mental pretty much dictates where you are in life. And like you said, Nate, a few minutes ago, the longer you ignore your mental and what's going on with your mental, the more stagnant you become in life. It's just like when you come in, you might throw some clothes on the floor. You might throw a pair of pants or a shirt or whatever. Then you come in the next day, you throw another pair of shirt and some pants on the floor. And all of a sudden you got a big dog pile of clothes because you didn't take the time out to pick the clothes that you already had on the floor. And that's basically what our mind becomes. It becomes a clutter. And basically it's our jobs to unclutter our minds, which is a hard task. because nobody really wants to go back and clean up a whole bunch of mess. But we really would have went back and say, you know what, I'm not gonna throw this shirt on the floor. I'm not gonna throw these pants on the floor. I'm gonna fold them up, put them in the dirty clothes, put them back in the dresser, whatever. So I don't create a whole mess later on. So, like the old saying goes, you can't put off tomorrow for what you can do today. There's never a right time. There's never a perfect time to work on your mental itself for right now. You have a perfect opportunity while you're on this earth, while you still got breath in your body, to work on your mental. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to talk. You got to talk about this stuff. And I don't mean to make it, race eccentric, but us as African Americans, we tend to be reserved. We tend to hold a lot of stuff in, and that seems to go on for generations and generations. But we have to realize that at the end of the day, if we don't let this stuff out, it's just gonna keep festering and festering and festering, and all of a sudden you're gonna find yourself like a sugar nut water bottle with a top on. As you keep on being shook, as you keep on being poked around with, as your mental remains unchecked, you just getting shook. And all of a sudden it takes that one little shake and you're gonna fizz. That cap is gonna pop off. One thing can happen to you and you don't check your mental, all of a sudden you in a rage. All of a sudden you ready to kill yourself. All of a sudden you just ready to be like, okay, like screw life. But none of those things wouldn't happen if we would take our mental more seriously.
That's a great point that you made. Great point. To see John said, "What's going on?" Johnny said, "What's up, fellas? Loving the podcast.
What's up,
Definitely
bro?
appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, but that's a great point that you made because one of the toughest things about the whole mental health situation is sometimes people don't really know when to say, okay, fine, I need to take a break from everything. Oh, we got a comment coming in real quick. This is what's going on, cousin? This is Pink Pond Princess. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to her again. She
Great
has
channel.
yes. You on it? Oh, you are subscribed to her?
I've been subscribed to her. Yes.
Okay, yeah. She has great fishing content. If you're a big fishing fan, you want to follow her page. Let's see. She said that is so true. If you don't tackle it now, then it'll always be a problem. Talking to a therapist or just someone that has a good listening ear will go a long way. Yes, it will. That is so true because and that's another great thing that was just pointed out because a lot of people are totally against therapy, which I don't understand why. And I don't know if it's so much of people think when you go to therapy, you're crazy. And that's not the case. Because I can tell you right now, when I was younger, around 2004, I would say, I'm sure people on this that's watching us right now, everyone in some way, shape, form, or fashion has dealt with being picked on in some way. Back in 04, I used to let everything that anyone said about me drive me to the point of panicking, to the point where I used to go to the counselor's office maybe three times a week at minimum, to the point where she suggested to my mom he needs to go to counseling. And I think at the time, she probably thought I was crazy. So the sad thing about it was, it wasn't even so much that I was crazy or anything. I just was in a bad space mentally. And it also takes being around I also want to put another thing. It also takes the right therapist, because I cannot remember the woman name. No jab to her. I don't know where she is this time. But the original therapist I went to was going to try to medicine me and just keep it moving. That is never the way. You don't never put you don't put medicine on a mental issue. Medicine is not gonna sit there and make you feel better. So, and I even throw that term, I'm using medicine, but that also goes for alcohol. That goes for anything in life. You never put any type of, whether it is drugs, alcohol, being out here on something that you shouldn't be, never use that as your escape, because guess what? You can do that for 15, 20 minutes for that moment to clear your head. But guess what? What's going to happen in your room by yourself at night? What's going to happen when you're mentally breaking down and you like, okay, well, this supposed to make me feel better. Now I'm back here stuck in the same mental capacity of I'm not happy with myself. I'm not going through this. I'm going through that. I need another outlet. So what are you gonna keep doing? You gotta keep finding one thing about it. You're gonna go to a stronger method, like Don mentioned earlier. You're gonna go from alcohol to drugs to taking yourself out from here. And the rate of suicide gets higher and higher every single year because of everything that goes on. You never want to put yourself in that predicament. So that's a great comment that she just made as far as talking to a therapist. I will recommend it. It changed my life. It made me look at things a lot more positive and just even being different, because that took me it took me a long way once I got with the right therapist and I was able to deal with it in a lot of other ways, even talking to family members and things, because sometimes you might be scared that some things you might be scared to talk to your immediate family about that you can talk to a complete stranger about, which is weird, but it's true. You can be able to talk because sometimes you may feel like you're not being judged, not saying
Right.
that you won't have that nobody don't deserve an opinion, but sometimes you may feel like, okay, this stranger totally gets this about me where I'm scared to say this to this individual. But I'm gonna let Don go ahead and give his comment on this as well.
I mean, that's an excellent comment that, Pink Pond Princess. I don't know her real name, but I'm just gonna call her by her handle. Like Nate was saying, that's she has an awesome channel on YouTube. Me being from Alabama, I'm a bit fisher, so definitely a great channel to subscribe to if you're into fishing and the ins and outs. But she really made a good point. If you don't tackle it now, then it'll always be a problem. Yes, it will always be a problem. It's almost like you notice that it's a mess, like I was saying, but you just sweep it under the rug, figuratively and literally. You sweep it on the rug, like Nate was saying, with drugs. You sweep it on the rug with bad relationships. You sweep it on the rug with peer pressure. You sweep it on the rug with feeling obligated to please everybody else. And that's the thing. In order for you to deal with your mental, another thing you're gonna have to do besides talk, besides be transparent, you also have to eliminate pride. In the Bible it says, warning comes before destruction, and a pride before a mighty fall. The warning is, okay, I'm not in a good space right now, but I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep putting that mask on. I'm gonna keep faking it till I make it. That's the warning. The destruction can be suicide. The destruction can be um overdose. The destruction can be uh being locked up in prison because of a DUI. Anything can happen. But you have to lay down your pride. You got to get rid of pride, because pride can keep you from so many things that can be an advantage in your life. Pride can keep you from really getting the release, getting the deliverance from mental depression that you want. And I know each one of these episodes, I lean towards the spiritual because that's my foundation. My foundation is, Christianity, the church, living a Christian life. And the thing about it is, like I said, it doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Mental issues are still mental issues. Even though I'm a Christian, I still be going through some mental issues at times, but I've learned to give my problems to God. I've learned not to let those things linger on more than I need to. And you have to talk to somebody. You have to talk. I don't care if you got to talk to yourself. Talk to God. Talk talk to somebody. You have to talk about this. You can't just let it stay inside. You can't, allow yourself to feel like nobody wants to hear you, nobody wants to deal with that. And I know we live in a society where it seems like it's dog eat dog, every man for themselves. Nobody cares about you. Oh, it's all about me. Forget what you going through. All people aren't like that. All people aren't like that. Nate ain't like that. I'm not like that. I've told y'all, even during the last episode on self-love, it don't matter what time it is. Reach out to somebody when you need help, because communication is the biggest bridge that you can build towards your future. Communication can really be a pillar to really getting to the bottom of what's going on with you mentally. You have to talk about this stuff. It didn't take, it took me until I was an adult to talk about the things that I was going through. And that should let somebody know that talking about it doesn't have an age limit. You can be a boy or girl, you still have to talk. You could be an old man or an old woman, you still have to talk about it, because there's somebody out there that is willing to listen to you. So you got to tackle it now, or just going to continue to be in the problem. So that was a good response from Pink Pony Princess. Good comment.
Yes, sir. Let's see. She said a lot of black people are afraid of asking for help. We have to take care of ourselves first. That is a very, very, very good point, because it is like Don said, it is never a leaning towards one race. The show will never lean towards one race. We're going to go ahead and make that clear. But the biggest thing is, this is a very true statement coming from two black men who definitely understand that there's a lot of people who look at mental, before, I would say, what would you say, probably the last 5 to 10 years, where mental health has really become more of a topic where people are okay with dealing with certain things and speaking on it at the time. Because before, probably, I would say pre-social media era, a lot of people just kept stuff to themselves. So, to be honest, although social media has its ups and downs, sometimes certain people have figured out a sense of confidence through it as well, because there are certain topics that they may not ever open up to among their own family and friends, that they might have went to a platform and said, okay, I'm comfortable enough to say this now. Because, even going on the spiritual level with, like Don stated, like there's a lot of times there's people that go to church every Sunday, and the pastor says every Sunday, if you are going through such and such and such and such, come up to the front, pray for you. And there's a lot of people that will not go to the front or even feel comfortable enough to go to the front, because they don't want everybody to know what they're going through. That is also another thing that kind of ties into a mental health thing as well. You could be going through something. You could have went to a church service, a motivational speech, anything motivational, and felt like, okay, I'm not comfortable to speak on this just yet, because at the end of the day, I don't know if this person is going to look at me as a weirdo. Let me put this out here to you. John just said as well, you are never, ever going to be judged for saying I'm going through something. If anything, I would rather you speak on it than not speak on it and things go down the road and go the wrong direction. Because there's so many, we've watched certain classmates of ours pass away, and we're 30. I'm 30. I think Don's 31 now. You 31 now, or you got me? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're technically young in a lot of senses. We lost classmates that was in their 20s that went through a lot of things, and they are no longer here to tell their story, or they're no longer here to deal with what they went through in life and trying to push through to become better in any aspect. And you don't ever want to put yourself in that predicament to where you don't feel like you're comfortable enough to say anything to anyone, because that makes you start to it shuts you down even further, because you never know what one person can say could change your life forever. Because you could be looking at it from a perspective of, man, this person said something to tighten me up. And I know a lot of you that probably was tuned into our show about self-love back in July. I think it was in July, right? Was it in July, late July? It was late July. We did a show on self-love. And even we were discussing on that show, as far as me personally, I do a motivational message to a lot of my good brothers on Monday through Thursday, and how at first a lot of people didn't know how to take it at first, of getting that motivational message on a regular basis. But then it opened them up to, hey, I'm in a better headspace now. I'm doing better now. I can embrace receiving that support, because when you came up in a generation that to an extent was built off negativity, that was built off certain things being spewed in a negative way. Even just going from the unfortunate situation a couple of days ago with the rapper
Young Dolph.
Young Dolph. He was a positive guy in his community, but the only thing that a lot of people are more so concerned about is who shot the guy, who did this, who did that, And it's unfortunate that sometimes when those things happen, you don't get a chance to talk about what he was doing when he was here. You get a chance to more so you're hearing about, okay, what does he do? What happened with this situation? What happened that situation? And it's just so true that you should be able to discuss those things. So that was a great comment that you made. Again, Pete, I'm gonna go to another comment. What's going on, David? He said that's good. He agreed with what we were saying earlier.
Hey,
she also said that's true. You do have those people that will be there for you when you need it. That was probably a response to what you said earlier. We got a lot of comments. I got to try to get down to it.
Yeah, let's get to these comments.
Matt here, what's going on, Matt?
Hey, bro.
He said, "Don't be afraid," and said that we were talking truth. Yes, we appreciate that. We definitely glad that y'all tuned in.
Thank you.
Also, Ron said, "Same as a big Oscar within our community." That's a great, great, great comment.
Great, yes. That's a very great comment. Yes, we have to.
Okay, young Kobe said, "What's really sad is a lot of us African American don't take mental health serious. They feel talking to someone makes them weak or something." Great, absolutely great point, bro. Absolutely great point that you just made.
Yes, and like I said, we have to really lay down our pride when it comes to mental health because, like the 3P, I'm just gonna call it 3P. Pink Princess, I'm just gonna call it 3P. Like she said, if you don't deal with it now, then it's just gonna keep festering, and we can't be afraid to talk. And even for me, when I believe it was in July, yes, like at the end of July when I got diagnosed with COVID, that really shook up my mental health. And some people may be saying, well, he believes in God. Like, how can he easily be so shaken about? Look, when you hear the stories of people that has went through that, and it's a true difference from hearing it from somebody who has went through that and actually going through that yourself. And those nights that I spent in the hospital, that was some real mental awareness right there, because I'm like, God, how am I gonna get up out of here? God, please don't take me up out of here. I know you put me on this earth to do so many things, and I don't want to leave just yet. But to glory be to God, he healed me from COVID, and we pray for the ones who's still dealing with that in their family members and stuff. But like Nate was saying, we're in our 30s. We've seen a lot of our classmates pass away. People from our perspective that was in perfect health. You would never think that this person was going through something. And it's like we get so caught up on the outward appearance and not really looking at what's going on inside, because what's going on inside really counts. Yes, you may see me smiling. Yes, you may see me pressing. Yes, you may see me being joyful, but that doesn't mean that my mental is like that. That doesn't mean that I'm like that on the inside of me. I may be going through some things right now and I'm just smiling my way through. Or as some people may say, oh, I'm just faking it till I make it. We have to stop faking it till we make it, because we're not going to make it if we fake it. And that's what society has taught us, is that you just got to fake it till you make it. That's what we've heard since childhood. Boy, don't cry. Boy, don't show no feelings. Boy, you can't go out here and be weak. That make you look like a punk. And it's like, why do we have to have those stigmas placed on us? Those are not it. To me, I feel like a person who makes themselves vulnerable to what they're feeling is strong, because it takes somebody who is not prideful, who doesn't care what it looks like, who doesn't care on how they may seem, they're going to tell you how they feel, and that takes great strength. That takes great humility. It takes you being humble to really talk about the things that you're going through. Hey, I'm going through this right now. Hey, I'm going through that right now. Even my own grandmother and me and they was talking on sidebar what she going through right now. And yet I had to come on here tonight and talk about mental health. So I just want everybody to be aware that even though we're on here talking about mental health, this is something that we're going through right now. At this second, Nate just lost his great aunt, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, but he's still here to talk about it. You know, another brother of mine's of ours, Orikion, he couldn't make it on tonight because his grandma just got into the hospital. But you know, mental health doesn't have no respect to person. No matter who you are, life gonna throw some things at you. Life is gonna put you in a place to where you can't talk about it, or you have to fake it till you make it. I'm here to tell you on tonight, you don't have to fake it till you make it. Because like Nate said on a few minutes ago, this ties back to self-love. How much do you love yourself to be concerned about your mental? How much do you love yourself to talk about these certain things? How much do you love yourself to be concerned about what you're concerned about? And one thing about that is we have to stop allowing people to make us feel obligated to take care of them first because before we take care of ourselves. No, that means even my own mom tells me to do something at that moment and I'm going through something, I gotta say, Mom, I love you, but I can't do that right now because I have to take a mental break. I have to get myself together before I come back and, you know, tend to you. We have to stop allowing people to make us feel obligated to tend to them before we tend to ourselves. And that's the roadblock in which we run through every time we get to a place to where something's going on with our mental. It's like we put our own selves on the back burner just to make sure everybody else feel good. We put our feelings to the back burner. We put our dreams to the back burner. We put our aspirations to the back burner to make sure that everybody else is good. But when it's the point that you're going to get to when you say, okay, I got to make sure I'm good. I got to make sure I'm in a good place in my mind. I have to make sure that I'm in a good place in my life. You have to do that. You have to do that. And nobody else is going to tell you to do that except you. You have to do that.
Very outstanding points that you just made. Go to comments real quick. Kadarius, what's going on, brother? What's going on, my bro? He said, pain share is pain lesson. We have to talk to each other about our issues. The person you may reach out to may have gone through something similar. Yes, sir. Amen to that, because so many people they'll avoid saying something just thinking that somebody's going to judge them. And like Don said, you never know who can give you that word of affirmation to get you going. And this is a great comment. How many times do people ask you how you are doing and you automatically say I'm doing good when you're really not? And that is so true, because every single day you're going to run into a coworker, you're going to run into somebody in the store, no matter where you are. They're gonna ask you, I'm good, man, just such and such and such and such. And mentally, you just could be in the worst place possible for so many reasons. And that's the crazy thing about it is we go through those things on a regular basis and really don't know how to handle it. It's so hard at times because you're afraid of what a person's gonna say. Got another comment coming in real quick. One second.
My boy Alex, what's up, man?
What's going on, Alex? He said, don't be afraid to admit there's a problem. Amen to that statement.
Yeah.
We got Desiree checking in. What's going on, Desiree? She said,
what's going on, Des?
She said, people communicate how they feel more openly once they found a safe place. Honesty, compassion, being non-judgmental are all things that create that space. It starts out at a young age. Many have men been taught to be strong, don't cry, etc., and not to respond with their emotions, which means they're not processing their emotions. Processing our emotions is important. It helps to create a healthy mental atmosphere. That is a great comment, because as she stated, us as men, oh my goodness, what I say? Oh yeah, we got our third. God, the advisor. What's going on,
Fellas, what's going
Enrique?
on?
What's up, bro?
But yeah, as I was responding to her comment, it is so true because we, as men, like Don just said, for years we had to keep you suck it up. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be straight. It comes a point where you have to start saying, all right, it's not good. And like all three of us on here now went through that COVID situation because, like Don said, he's spiritual guy. I'm a spiritual guy too. I'm sure 3 P's, like he called, like I like the nickname he gave her. The 3 P's. She understands where I'm coming from with this. If you're still on here, I know you definitely gonna comment on this. Back in January, we had maybe 15 family members at the same time going through COVID. And that was the hardest thing in the world to deal with. And that's one of the that was a hard thing because, as Don said, only thing the media points out is I'm just gonna throw out a number. At a point, it was 100,000 cases, 1,000 deaths. This many people are tested positive. You guys remember the numbers. You stay on CNN, on your local news station every single day. They literally even had it on Google, such and such amount of cases, such and such amount of this COVID, this is free COVID, this free COVID, that. That's all we heard last year. So when you go through the experience of dealing with it, it immediately frightened you. And both of my grandparents were dealing with it at the time. That was the most scariest thing in the world because anybody that knows me knows how close I am with my grandparents. That was the worst thing in the world to see them even go through that, because it was like, this is the last thing anyone should have to deal with. But as he was mentioning again, your faith will be tested from a mental health standpoint in certain circumstances, with your adversity, with the things that go on in your life. You may go home and just be like, forget it today. I'm just over it all the way around the board. And sometimes that's when you're supposed to show your strength. Sometimes strength comes through the worst moments in your life. And that's where it's big on having your mental together. Because one thing about building your mental health, you got to build your confidence through. You got to build yourself up to keep going, because you're going to be thrown different challenges so many times where life is going to make you feel like, okay, I'm done with this thing called life. I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather just go off into my own box and just be done with life. And that's when your most amazing accomplishments will come about. Because I'm sure you guys understand that you've been through certain things where it's like, man, forget it. I don't want to do this anymore. And that is the moment that you start seeing your life turn around. So anytime that I know you guys agree with me as well. Anytime your mental scene that is at its worst, that's when you keep battling. That's when you pick up that phone and talk to that friend. That's when you pick up the phone and talk to that prayer line or that pastor or that therapist, because I promise you, at that moment, that's when you're getting tested to see, are you ready for this next level? Because that's what most times mental health is to do. Sometimes it's preparing you, because one thing everybody has is that one T word that we all have heard from kids on to now when we're adults, that we understand, and you know the word called testimony. You hear people say I give them my testimony as a kid. I'm like, man, what do you mean about a testimony? You know, you hear, you're like, man, what are they talking about? This is my testimony. But when you get older, you realize your testimony is just as important as that person you listened to when you were 5 or 6 years old or growing up. So that's one of the most important things. And before you go advise, I want to go to these comments real quick. Let's see. Tevin, what's up, bro? He said, I used to never open up, still working on it. Yeah. Well, thank you, Nate, for checking in on me every day, being a good friend for 10 years. Man, you my bro, man. You know I got you. We have these talks. Shoot, he's got me through a lot of things mentally as well. So it's all about helping each other out, man. You have helped me out just as much as I've helped you out, bro. And Tim, what's going on, bro? Make sure that's another great gaming channel to follow. That's TJ. Rihanna and Don. That's TJ's channel. But he agreed with what we said. But I've said enough. I'm gonna let the advisor. He's just showing up to the show. We gotta let him get his sound up on this thing. The floor is yours, brother.
What's going on, Kingpin Nation? What's going on? What's going on to my brothers, man?
So, man,
I could definitely say, man, I feel like today is definitely been that detrimental type of conversation that based off the conversation we already having, mental issues, mental health. You know, as I said in part one, you know, I'm physically going through therapist myself. It took me some years to just admit, and you know, that's the first step, admitting that you need help, because you know, us as black men, man, we'll brush it off and we'll keep brushing it off. We'll keep brushing it off, and eventually, man, it turns into something that a lot of people don't even see coming, because a lot of people, you know, we got those friends, and then we got those true brothers and those true friends and those true sisters and those true family members that will check on you every day. Will ask, "Hey, how you doing?" Even if they just saying, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's your family?" Or, "Man, how's your mental 1 through 10, man?" Like, really talk to me. It's, you know, just, you know, it's interesting in how my life is going, man. It's, you know, as my brother Nate said, man, I came in a little bit on the last bit of the conversation, but he said something about, you know, just checking in on family and checking in on friends. And, you know, I'm gonna tell you as the advisor, and so everybody understand, and who those people that could experience off of my personal battle that I have, I'm not gonna let my personal battle dictate my mindset or my everyday life. I'm not gonna let it uh deteriorate or detour me to suicide. I just won't let it happen. Even if I, you know, as I said, therapy is definitely helping, because it, you know, you got to have that outside person who will listen to you and give you that information. Because, you know, if you're in a relationship, if you're married, or you're dealing with somebody, you know, eventually you're gonna get tired of hearing that person say something. You're gonna love them, but you need that extra ear that's from the outside to give you information, to just give you like things you could work through, even if it's things from your childhood that you just kind of you went through, but you really didn't grieve from that process, or you really didn't work it out or talk about it, you know. And as the two brothers on the line with me, man, I definitely would say it's a blessing being a part of Kingpin Nation, and it's a blessing being a part of the brotherhood, just to, you know, let you guys know that we're here to give information, positive information. We're here to just help you guys out. If there's, you know, like this Q&A, or an outlet where you guys cannot just talk to family, you need an outlet to talk to people, man, we are definitely here to help you guys. We are definitely here to give you the best advice we could give you with God's help, man. I appreciate the opportunity for just sharing a little bit of my background, and just jumping on with my boys, man. So the floor is open.
And it's good that you said all that, Rikion, because that goes along with what I said earlier about, you know, us coming on here, not putting on no face, you know, trying to make it
Right.
seem like we got it all together, and you know, we just, you know, dancing in a bed of sunflowers. You know, it's gonna be some days. It be some days that we really go through. You know, we really have to, you know, pick up the pieces and just continue to press, you know what I'm saying? Because we know that life is going to throw a whole bunch of stuff our way, and we just have to get to a place to where we say, you know what, like, you know, Rikion just said, we can't not allow our what our mental is going through to dictate us, because we are who we allow our mental to be. And the thing at the end of the day is that we are in charge of our mental. And I can remember some days Arikian would text both me and Nate, and he'll just ask, how's your mental? And the first time he tested that, I'm like, what he mean by that? How's your mental? Like, what he mean by that? But then as I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I know what he means, because it's gonna be certain things that's gonna arise to challenge your mental. It's gonna challenge your belief. It's gonna challenge certain things that you hold value in your life. And you have to make sure that no matter what comes, that your mental is good. You have to make sure that you're good. And just the fact that all three of us have our own story of where we came from, it really it's a blessing to come on here and share this stuff with y'all, because we're not, like I said, we're not gonna come on here and try to put on this face like we have it all together, because we go through stuff just like everybody else. We just as human as everybody else. Just because we have a grand podcast, we come on here and share with y'all what we know and what we gone through. It doesn't mean that we don't go through stuff, because we go through stuff sometimes. And I know both me and Arikian can attest to this. Like, even in marriage, you're going to go through your stuff. Your mental gets challenged, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're engaged, or whatever. I believe it gets more challenging when you add somebody else in the picture, because now not only do you have a responsibility to gauge your own mental, but to an extent, you have to gauge the other person's mental as well. Not to say that it is all on you to make the other person happy. It's all on you to make sure that the other person's good. But to an extent, you do have a responsibility to make sure that their mental is good as well, because their life is merged with yours. They're living in the same house as you. So that means that the beliefs that they have, what they believe in, what makes them happy, you should do whatever you can to make, to give them that. So I will put that out there. And it's also good to know that it's also good to know, and I just want to lean this way, since we're on sounds like we're on the road of relationships. You want to be with somebody that encourages you to talk, that encourages you to be transparent, because we know that there's some relationships out there where it's just one-sided. It's all about the other person's feelings. I don't care about your feelings. That don't work out all the time. It does not work out. It has to be two-sided when it comes to that. So I just want to put that out there as well. Nate, do you have anything?
Oh, let me go to the comments real quick. Jadarius, what's going on, bro? He said, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? I'm glad you watching. But these guys have made some great points from all levels. Because like Enrique does do a outstanding job of saying how's your mental. And it be sometimes it be, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it be random times for us. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta respond to my guy, man. I appreciate him hitting me up about it, because again, sometimes you're not and it's a shame that sometimes we have to feel like, oh man, this is random, but all right, I'm doing good. It's a shame because we deal with so many people in this world who that has a hidden agenda, that someone showing you positivity can sometimes be viewed as what they want. It's something they're looking for in this, when truly all they could want is just to make sure you're good, make sure that you're pushing. Because sometimes, because I know for me, like even when I write my messages on a day-to-day basis throughout the week, sometimes my messages going across to someone else makes me feel better, because I could be having a horrible day to start off. But to see someone enjoying the fact that you took the effort out to inspire them, to encourage them, and make sure that they're good, it can make you feel better, because they may not know they could be lifting your spirit up. They could be making you continue to say, hey, my efforts are valued. So let me continue. Let me go impact this next person's life. Let me go impact this next person's life. Because at the end of the day, you don't know who that the higher power is bringing into your life. Sometimes you are being in a person's life to make them a better person, to make them believe in themselves when they didn't have no one else pushing them. And that's why it's so essential, as they mentioned, as Don mentioned, as far as him and both being married, about how they have to look at their spouse, or look at the next person that's next to them. That even goes into your circle. That even goes into your environment. You cannot be the positive person in a negative environment. It would never work. Because one thing about it, you can only be positive but so long until those people drag you down. That's why you hear the comment of crabs in a bucket. You never want to put yourself, if you're going to put yourself in a bucket, make sure that bucket's going to build you to be the next great individual, the next.
Well, you better talk that.
Say it again.
I said you better talk on that, man.
Yes, sir. The biggest thing is you need that person to continue to push you, whether it's a friend, whether it's a woman, whether it's for the women on here, whether it's your man. You need those people to push you to the next level. You do not need someone continuing to drag you down. And let me also make this clear on what we're saying as far as this as well. There is a difference between going through your mental state and staying in the same stagnant, depressed mindset. If you're not trying to be better, that can't be a part of your environment. That will drag your mental health down. Do not allow that to be a part of your future, because when you allow it to be a part of your future, you're going to start going, you might be at home down about what they're going through, and you in a happy space, and it's like, why am I sad? Oh man, they're going through this. Why are you sad? You don't want that to be the state. Now, I'm not saying you don't make it where you are empathetic to what the environment around you is going through, but you help each other get to that next level. You have those day or two or a week, however long it takes to get through the storm, as long as you're making the progression from last week, 2 weeks ago. But if you're a year later and that person is telling you the same story, the same rehearsed script, it's like you're watching a movie 500 times in a row. You do not need that into your life, because guess what? There's no new plot. You don't watch a movie for the same start. You don't watch a movie for the start. You want to see something come out of the movie. You want to get to the point where you're seeing either it be solved, either it be a happy ending, or if it's a rough ending, you want to know how did it transpire there. You don't want the same lackadaisical, oh man, I'm going through this storm. What have you done to better yourself? Who have you spoken to about it? Oh man, well, I'm not trying to do. You don't want anyone around you like that, because it will drag your mental down. So if it's any people that is in your life that's dragging you down mentally, get rid of them, because you don't want to miss out on your blessing carrying dead weight. And that's it. I know I got a little bit off topic with that, but it ties into mental health, because again, you need, because it's like you're on a championship ball club. You got to have every key element get you to the next level. You cannot have one person slacking off, because that one person could cost you the chance to be great. Could cost you the chance to take that next leap. But if you have this one person you're dragging along, that's why. I'm not trying to tie sports into it right now, but that's why a person gets cut, traded. You move on from it. You replace that, because you're trying to put the key elements to become the greatest you, to have the great people around you. Because at the end of the day, as great as you are, sometimes it needs to have that environment be great around you as well. I want to be pushed, to be motivated. At the end of the day, let me also put this into the atmosphere as well. Allow your circle to motivate you to be better, and not have that circle have you feel like you got to compete. If you're in a circle that's competing, get rid of it. That's not a circle. That's not an environment. Get rid of it. You need people that's going to have you in a great mental space. There are some people that you can't answer their phone call, because you're sitting here, you're getting better. and that person is still stagnant, still sending you the same story statement. You don't need that. Get yourself together, and if you get yourself together, you take that next leap in life. That's what I want to see everyone do in life. Never get to a point where you feel like I'm carrying a dead weight. I'm carrying this, I'm carrying that. Everybody wants to see you be great. One thing about it, we all on this show came together to do this show because we wanted everybody to be great. Never let nobody stop you from being that. Before I turn it over, let me go to the comment. But boy, what's going on, my boy? How you doing, bro? But I'm gonna leave it there because I went to preach. I'm gonna let my brothers take it over now.
No, sir. You talking good, man. You talking good. You said some good stuff, man. Man, you don't put a 12-ounce steak out there with some asparagus with some mashed potatoes, man. For real, man. Man. I'm dead serious, man. You don't put some good stuff out there, man. Because at the end of the day, each and every person has an atmosphere. We all have an atmosphere, and we all in charge of the inner the I'm not gonna call it energy because it sounds like universal. I'm gonna, we all in charge of our atmosphere. I'm just gonna leave it like that. We all in charge of our atmosphere, and we are in charge of what enters into our atmosphere and what exits our atmosphere. Not only do we have the power to change, but we have the power to be influenced. And one thing about it is that, like Nate was saying, he made a very good point. He made very good points, but it's just one good point, great point that he made when he started talking about, you being all positive and you're going on with what you want to do in life, and you just have that one person that keeps want to drag you down with their issues. And it's like, you have to be careful who's in your circle. You have to be careful who's listening to you, because not everybody have your best interest in heart. I hate to break it to you. I hate to, bring in the breaking news to you, but not everybody in your circle has your best interest in heart. People in your circle, they may act like they want the best for you, but they really not. They really there to see you fall. They really there to see you when you gonna stumble. Oh, this gonna be the day they gonna shake up. Oh, this gonna be the day where they trip. Or this gonna be the day where that strong persona that they always have, that faith they always have, is that gonna crumble today? And you have to use discernment. People want to say intuition or feel it in your gut and things of this nature, but I use discernment. You have to have discernment and to identify who's with you and who's not, because like I said, nobody that's in your circle is for you. Nate has experienced that. I have experienced that. Orikian has experienced that. We all have experienced that. Everybody in your circle ain't for you. So you have to be sure that your circle is full of people that wants the same thing from you as you want from them. They have to make sure that you want people in your circle that wants what's best for you and not what's best for them. Because we do have those certain people in our lives that be leeches. They just want to suck away your dreams. They want to suck away your finances. They want to suck away everything that God has purpose in your heart and in you to do on this earth. They just want to take that all away. They want to take that all away. But we have to make sure that we at a point to say, you know what? This is my atmosphere and I'm not going to allow you in it, because my mental health is so important that anything and everyone that comes to take away what I have to do on this earth and what God made me on this earth has to go. It has to go. And you cannot be like, well, what if this person feels this way? Or what if they never talk to me again? Obviously, they didn't care enough for you to lift you up. So why would they care today that you let them go? Why should you care for them and their well-being when they don't even care about your well-being? And it's like, we have to get to the point to where, again, like I said, And it's amazing that the last episode and this episode intertwines, because your mental health it has to deal with self-love. Do you love yourself enough to take care of your mental? Do you love yourself enough to take control of your atmosphere and to weed away those things and those people that don't mean you any good? Because anything that you leech on to is gonna have an effect on you, whether it be positive or whether it be negative. And I done seen this so many times. I could be, having a joyous day, but it takes that one person to come in all gloomy, black cloud mentality, all this stuff. Oh, woe is me mentality. Also, I'm feeling like woe is me. I'm feeling like I'm having a bad day. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like, why am I feeling this way? I was just happy 1 minute, and then now I'm feeling depressed because something has been entered into my atmosphere, and I allowed it. So you can't allow certain things to change your atmosphere. You have to be able to dictate your atmosphere. You are in charge of your own feelings. You are in charge of what comes in your atmosphere and what goes out of your atmosphere. So I just wanted to put that out there. Be in charge of your own atmosphere. Arikian?
We got another comment. I would assume. It also goes off of. I heard on Steve Harvey this morning. He was speaking on craziest thing. He was speaking on mental health, your mindset, and he was saying that the things that you do in life, it's only going to be one or two ways. It's going to be on this side or this side. You're either going to have faith or you're going to have fear. And that falls on the negative and that falls on the positive. You're going to have, those people that, like my brother said, leech on you. And even if we have to put it into I guess an acronym or sorry, I'm lost for words, but it's like if you guys was to take picture and take those people that leech on you, I'm gonna use an analogy, which would be like an anchor. When you go on a ship, you have that anchor that's thrown into the ocean that sticks to something, and whatever attaches itself to that anchor or that magnet, it could be negative energy, it could be positive energy. So, a lot of times we have to, even if you wake up in the morning, before you really start your day, give yourself about 5-10 minutes and just really meditate. Just meditate on positive energy, positive things that you have. Don't worry about the negative things. The negative things is the things that are going to change your mood swings. So a lot of times we have to, just meditate and, thank God for the good things that we do have, all the positive things that we have, the things that we are appreciative and blessed for, the things that people that are still living, parents that are still living, us having a roof over our head, those positive things. So, it's crazy that this is a very heavy conversation that could go on for episodes and episodes, because it's not just one or two episodes we could have about this, because mental health, it attaches itself in so many ways. It's like you buying a car for the first time as a teenager. You got the money to buy the car, but you don't have insurance. So you can't really drive the car. You got to have insurance, got to have registration, got to have all these things to make your car move. In our life, with people. Where am I going with this? Sorry, y'all. I'm everywhere. I definitely would say that your mental has everything to do with just who you are as a person, who you are as a male or female, mother, a brother, a son. You know, it has everything to do with, just who you are. And, if you put out bad energy, you will always get bad energy. And for those people that, are in your circle, just, and you just become rich, you become a ball player, and they see you putting on for your city, they see you putting on for your hometown, they see you. You got those people that want what you have, but really don't want to work for what you did and how you got there. It's all in your mental. I'm gonna let one of my brothers take over.
Okay, I saw that comment earlier that was mentioned as far as I want in on this. We got you. We definitely gonna bring some people on here in the near future. That would be awesome to do that. We definitely appreciate you tuning in. The amazing thing about doing a show like this is, again, like Don said, it ties into the previous show that we did about self-love. And the one thing that we discussed with self-love, we were just talking about from relationships to the people that you associate yourself with, from us as men, just on different aspects as far as the whole mental health aspect. But the amazing thing about doing a show like this is we're getting a chance to not only talk about what we deal with on a personal level, but this is just a platform for you guys to get a chance to voice your feelings, voice the things that you're dealing with, even in your own personal life, that could be a help to us. Because the biggest thing about mental health is everybody has stages of how they are able to deal with it. You have some people that are way ahead of the game in dealing with mental health. They can get through anything and any challenge with no problem. You have some who still is in a work in progress, and you have some that are really bad at it. And there's nothing wrong with saying that you're bad at it. It's when you're new to something. Because if you grew up, like prime example, it kind of ties back into the whole being man, suck it up. But you also grew up in an atmosphere where you didn't have the opportunity to be emotional. You have the opportunity to say that, hold on 1 second.
Oops, that was my fault. Sorry.
You are good. But when you get to a point where you grew up in an atmosphere where some people grew up with families where talking was not one of those things that you do. You grew up in an atmosphere where sometimes they're just like, oh, well, why are you sad? You got other bigger things to worry about. But what if that's your ultimate obstacle that you worry about? You don't want that to carry over to be when you become just to throw this out here like this. You don't want to take anything that's not uplifting, motivational, or any of those positive things from childhood and express it as an adult to your future kids, to your future environment. You don't ever want that to happen, because there's a thing called a generational curse that can become a very, very tough thing for anyone to deal with. And if granddad didn't talk to dad about it, dad not going to talk to son about it. Son's going to pass it down, and it's going to continue to somebody find a way to break it. You don't want to put yourself into that predicament. And that's one of the reasons why I say collectively our generation is trying to break this mental health thing wide open and give the future generations the opportunity to say it's okay to be sad. It's okay to go through certain things. It's how you rebound from those things. One of the statements that I've lived by in life is called adversity builds character. Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of folks don't really embrace. Sometimes you have to embrace your adversity that you go through. Sometimes you have to embrace the fact that you have anxiety at night and a lot of us probably go through this thing separate from the world. I can tell you for certain there's been nights I don't sleep because I have anxiety, but I find a way to start praying through it. I find a way to start speaking through it. I find outlets on how to go through those different things, because when you don't have if you don't learn to gain an outlet, then it's going to hurt you long term. Not to say, because like it's a blessing us three are able to come together. We have those talks when we have those talks. Not saying that, but there are going to be moments where somebody's not going to be able to answer your comment right that second, answer your text message right that second, answer your phone call once that second is there. You may have to sometimes learn, and it goes back. It's so crazy how this episode is tying into the previous one of self-love. This is so amazing. But it's one of those things where sometimes just for a temporary moment, you have to sometimes be your own cheerleader. Sometimes you have to sit there and think about your adversity. Adversity may come up, might be like, hey, but remember, you got through this. You done got through this. So when you get a chance to talk, when you do get a chance to spill out your emotions to the trusted individual or people or whoever you go to when you're having those moments, that's when you can say, okay, I'm even better with it because I got a little control over before I had to go take the remainder of it. Sometimes to get you to that next level at the moment, sometimes you have to pick yourself up. One thing about it, I'm gonna give you this personal advice from myself to our viewing audience. Even if my brothers have to take this advice, if you are going through a moment, let's say you're going through a financial struggle. If you are sitting at home, stressed out, frustrated, oh man, how am I going to make this happen? What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with that? Look up a prayer. Look up something, because guess what? Someone else has went through the same thing that you're going through and maybe needed a prayer behind it. So they posted that prayer. At this moment, and I may even post this under the comments after the show is over, I have a link in my phone that whenever I have anxiety, it's a 30-day anxiety prayer list. You can have it tied into whichever moment of anxiety that you're going through, because there are different stages of anxiety. Anxiety is not tied to one particular thing. So when you have, and Don is heavily involved in the church as well. So you have certain things that you have certain topics that Bible verses are going to match up to, that scripture is going to match up to. So sometimes, even if you, and this goes for anyone, you don't have to be the most spiritual person in the world to tie into this, but it's always a great word of affirmation that you can go back to when you're having those rough days. You may not be able to talk to that person in a particular moment. It may need a quick word of a prayer of encouragement or something to pick you up right that second. Use that thing. We have the beautiful thing about this world now is, as much as social media has its evil ways, let me tell you, I'm just gonna throw out a couple guys. Like, I know these guys know very well about Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, that you can see his videos on YouTube and all these different platforms. If you're having a rough moment, you can go straight to it. You can pull up an old Joel Osteen or TD Jakes sermon online, or you have different outlets to where within seconds you can type a thing, you can be listening to this motivation on the way to work if you can't reach a particular person at the time. Or you may be laying at your bed at night and maybe the person you may talk to is asleep and you want them to get their rest, and you need to talk to that person. You need that mental affirmation at that moment. So that's a way that you go by getting it. You have outlets of building yourself up. Don't allow yourself to dwell in your adversity or dwell in being sad or dwell in those things. If you have those moments, you find a way to snap yourself out of it until you're able to speak to that individual or whoever that you speak to, because sometimes that conversation still may happen. but you did something to work at it. You did something. You read a Bible verse to pick yourself up. And that's one of the most incredible things to be able to do, is to go to those things. And that's another thing that has to be done with your mental health. Instill positive knowledge. This term that your mind is you guys are going with this. Your mind is makes a terrible thing in ways.
Yes.
You hear about your mind, everything that you hear about, words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. That's a lie. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there right now, because you can be sitting here saying, man, I can't go get this job. Man, I'm not physically in shape to do this. I'm not financially in shape to do this. I'm not spiritually in shape to do this. And you could be beating yourself up before you even step in the door. You might have had a blessing come your way, and you're breaking yourself before you even get to that opportunity, because you've already told yourself, I can't do this. I'm not worthy enough to get this job. I'm not worthy enough to get this house. Who said that? You? Because you don't know what the circumstances could be. You could go in there and have the least experience of anyone at this job and have the best job ever when you walk up out of there. You may go in there, may not have the best credit situation, the best financial situation. It could be a homeowner and able to say, I'm in a blessed situation. You never want to beat yourself down, because one thing about it, you're going to hear no in life from time to time. You're going to hear no in certain aspects from time to time. But guess what? Don't let you be the person to deny you from. It's already tough enough when you go through things. You have to go through rejection. You have to go through adversity. Why stop yourself from getting there? Don't do that to yourself. You kings and queens out here, don't ever feel like you can't use that term about yourself. You are kings and queens out here. You can't. You owe yourself to be great. You don't owe yourself to be average, to be, I'm getting there. I may get there, but such and such. Stop using but. That's another thing that helps your mental health. Stop saying, man, I'm making progress today, but what? You stopping yourself. I can't encourage you. Don can't encourage you. The advisor can't encourage you if you're kicking yourself down. So the biggest thing is, it goes back to self-love. And if you didn't watch that episode, go back and watch it from July, because it ties into this. So if this didn't reach you, I want you to go back and watch self-love. Let both of them get you to that next level. Because one thing about it, when we step onto this, and this is what, and I want to give you guys this, and I know I'm kind of preaching right now, but it's a blessing that Don did with this show. This could have easily been a sports podcast, a music podcast, an entertainment podcast. He wanted to get us on here and impact lives in other areas, because there's so many things where we hear so much negativity. He wanted to bring us together to do this thing. So as we get on here, and we're an hour and 23 minutes in on this show, it's just to motivate you guys. This is to motivate ourselves, because something in that comment you can say to us can probably send us on our way for the rest of the night. So at the end of the day, don't ever feel like you are less than worthy of being encouraged. Says who? There's no age limit on it. There's no status in life on it. There's no financial status in life on it, because you can be sitting in the house with $100 million and the most depressed person ready to take yourself away from here. I'm gonna let one of the bros go, because like I said, I'm getting back into that preacher mode. So let these guys go to it.
Hey, I ain't never gonna complain, man. I ain't never gonna complain when some good actual factuals is going in the midst. You know, I just wanted to touch on this comment right here by Kadarius. He said it's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay there. That's what self-love comes in. I love that comment right there, because that's a comment of transparency right there. It's okay to not be okay. You know, you don't have to, when somebody say, oh, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing good. Knowing good and well, you're not good. You know what I'm saying? You can, instead of saying, oh, I'm good, just faking it till you make it, you can say, well, I'm not my best right now, but I'm working on getting there. You have to be transparent. And that's what it's all about, is we want we want to be transparent to you guys so that we can be a safe place for you guys to be transparent to us. Because at the end of the day, like Nate was saying, um, this was one of the reasons, if not the main reason, why I wanted to create this podcast, was because I wanted to create a safe haven for you guys' comments, for your concerns, and I do want to implement more Q&As. I want to implement more things where you bring us topics and that we come together and we talk about them. Even though we're over an hour and 25 minutes, I'm having a good time right now. I'm having a great time right now because somebody's life is being impacted as we speak. Somebody's mindset is changing as we speak. Someone made a come on here, was having the worst day of their lives, was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, ready to end it all. But because they heard what we had to say on tonight, their lives has just turned a full 180. That's why I want to declare on this line even now is that your life just turned a full 180. It might have been nighttime figuratively. Well, we know it's nighttime right now, literally, but I'm talking about figuratively in your mind. It may have been dark in your life, but I'm here to declare to you on today, because you did not count a robbery to come on here and to be engaging to this podcast. Something in you told you to come on here and listen to this podcast. Your night just turned into morning. Your night just turned into morning. The sun is going to shine. Yes, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. We live in a society where things have to happen instantly. Some things aren't going to happen instantly. Some things are not going to happen as fast as other things. But as a good as the Bible says, patience, patience is a virtue. We have to have patience with this. And in order for you to truly identify what's going on in your mental and to truly figure out what's going on on the inside of you, it's going to have to take patience and it's going to have to take work. And that's the thing about it. That's the reason why some people don't want to deal with certain things, because it takes work. We've gotten so accustomed to just letting things slide through, just go by the wayside. Or I'll get to it tomorrow. I don't need to get to it right now. Or I'll get to it next week. No, it's time out to just be pushing things to the side. It's time out to just be allowing the enemy just to have his way in our lives. God says, I made you more than a conqueror. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the borrower. So that means that you do not have to live below your means, because low is not your means, it's up. Your means is advancement. Your means is progress. It's progress. And the thing about it is that in life, there has to be some type of progress. And only you can dictate how long that progress is. And if you don't reach a place where you want to be, you cannot blame your parents. You cannot blame your peers. You cannot blame your friends. You can't blame your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever. The only person that you have to blame is yourself, because you had the opportunity to make yourself great. You had the opportunity to deal with the things that you needed to deal with, but because you let circumstances cause you to be stagnant, cause you to be stuck, cause you to not work on the things that you need to do, now you're in a place to where you feel like you're being left behind, or you feel like everybody don't care about you. But the thing about it is, God has given us all resources to be able to talk, to be able to handle the things that we need to handle. As take me for example, if I don't have anything else to talk about, if I don't have nobody else to talk to, I talk to God. I talk to God, because first of all, he created me. He said, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. So that means that even before you was even created, he knew you. He knew you was going to be exactly where you are right now. He knew you was going to be exactly in the place that you are right now. And who else know you better than God? He created you. He's your father. He's the one who wakes you up every morning. Every time I open my eyes up in the morning, I say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning, because I know there's somebody out there that went to bed the previous night expecting to wake up and they didn't wake up. The alarm clock is still on. So the fact that he woke me up this morning tells me that he's not done me yet, that there's more things on this earth that we have to do. And the fact that you're still here, you all are still here, means that there are still things on this earth that you have to do. God's not done with you yet. He's got dreams that he wants to birth out of you. He's got certain things in you that he's put inside of you to impact other people. He wants to birth those things out of you. But those things cannot come to pass if your mental isn't right. You cannot succeed in life if your mental isn't right, because it won't be fulfilling. Like Nate said, you can be a billionaire, a gazillionaire. You can have all the money in the world, but if your mental ain't right, you're not going to enjoy it. There are some things money cannot buy. A peace of mind, money can't buy that. Joy, money can't buy that. Love, money can't buy that, unless you go to a Flame or Magic City or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's not really love. That's another topic for another day. But this goes back into self-love. How much do you love yourself really? How much do you really love yourself? Do you love yourself enough to say, you know what, today is going to be a good day? I am a king. I am a queen. I am blessed beyond measure. I have everything that I need because God is everything that I need, because I have my mental together. How much do you love yourself? And like Nate said, if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to that episode, please go back and listen to that episode, because I promise you, I guarantee you, that episode will bless you. It will give you a perspective on how much you love yourself. It will cause you to do a self-examination on yourself, to ask yourself, do I really love myself? And the fact that you don't deal with your mental clearly shows that sometimes you don't love yourself, or you don't take it as an importance as you should. Because if you did, your problems wouldn't still be there. And not only wouldn't they still be there, but you wouldn't allow certain things to shake you. And like I said before, life is going to throw at you whatever it got, because the enemy knows that you're on purpose. And I'm going to say this right here. This is an awesome nugget, and I tend to say this all the time. The enemy believes in you more than you believe in yourself at times, because he knows he's a defeated foe. He knows that once you get your mental together and you truly know who you are, then he is in for some trouble. You are forced to be reckoned with. You have what it takes to get your mental together. You have what it takes to achieve your goals, to achieve your dreams. You have what it takes. But you have to believe that, and nobody else can make you believe that except for you. So like Nate said, or Ricky, I don't know who said it, but when you wake up in the morning, declare of yourself that you are blessed, that you will have a good day, that your friends and your loved ones will have a good day. Because like the word says, life and death is in the power of the tongue. We have to be careful what we say when we're going through certain things, because the words can have an effect as well. Like Nate was saying, sticks and stone might break my bones, but words won't hurt. Yes, they will. And they hurt more than sticks and stones. And I'm going to just share this little experiment. I'm going to share this experience for the people who has been hurt by words. So as men, you may know, some you may know, I used to be, I was married before. This is my second marriage that I'm in right now. But I was in a previous marriage for 3 years, and it got so emotionally and it got so emotionally abusive to my ex telling me that you're not my husband. That cut me deep, because I said to myself, this is the person who I gave my life to, who I said I do for, and then they turn around and tell me that I'm not their husband. That cut me deep. That experience alone, I went through that for 3 years. That told me that that experience really took away everything that I was. It really did. And it took me a while to get myself back together and say, you know what? That experience, that experience is going to grow me. That experience is going to cause me to be a better person. Everything that you go through in life is not for coincidence, but it's for your building. All this mental awareness we're talking about, self-love, treating yourself, making sure that you good, transparency. That's all about taking care of yourself, building you. You are a work under construction, but you can only dictate how long that process is. And let's see what Alex says. If you tell yourself you're not going to be great, you won't be. That's how powerful the mind is. Yes, it is. Your mind is a powerful thing. Why do you think the enemy always comes for your mind? He never comes for your body. He never comes for your heart. He never comes for anything other than your mind. Because if he can influence your mind, he got you. He got you. If he can get you up here, he got you. Because he realized how powerful your mind is. He realizes how powerful you can be once you get inside your mind that I am great. I am strong. I am healed. My mental is together. He doesn't want you to think that way. He wants you to focus on the negative. He wants you to focus on what's around you. So on tonight, I want to encourage you all to take care of your mental, to put whatever you need to put to the wayside. If you got to put whatever, if you put your phone away, put your family to the back burner for a second to say, you know what? I need to take care of my mental. I need to take care of what concerns me, because we can't count on anybody to be concerned about us at the end of the day. We have to be concerned about ourselves. We have to know where we stand in our lives. And that goes back to transparency. No more fake it till you make it. You're not going to make it if you fake it. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. So, people, let's be real. Let's tell ourselves where we are, look in that mirror, and say, okay, I'm here, but I'm not going to be here forever. I'm going to be somewhere else. If anyone thinks of himself to be religious and yet does not bridle his tongue but deceives his own heart, this man's religion is worthless. Very true statement. Very true statement. It's not just about words. It is about words. Your actions back it up. It's your actions that tells you if you got it. So I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. This has been a blessing. It's really been a blessing. I've enjoyed everyone's feedback. Everyone's feedback is important. Everyone's viewership is important. Every share, every like, every comment, everything that y'all do for this channel is a blessing to us. And I just pray that whatever we speak on here, it's impacting y'all. It's impacting y'all. And just know that, we love y'all, we value y'all, and we value your comments or, however you do it. So I'm done. Nate done came on here. We done preached.
Yes, sir. We have preached. We have preached. To add to what Don said, I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been a lot of people that's jumped on here, just giving comments. We really appreciate every comment that we have received, every like, share, subscription, comment, just the support. It means a lot because at the end of the day, the first time around, we were down. I was not a part of the first episode, and was going through a certain struggle. We had a situation. Our advisor had a situation he was dealing with, and he was able to come on here and it was able to come together like we wanted to. Because at the end of the day, sometimes the adversity, like we mentioned earlier, sometimes it can become a obstacle that you have to get over, and we were able to get through it. And you guys played a huge factor in us getting through this, and we appreciate that so much. Because one thing about it, whether you realize it or not, whether it was 1 viewer, 5 viewers, 20 viewers, 1,000 viewers, every view matters, every comment matters. So these shows that we come together to do, you guys play a you guys are our quarterback. We just coaching the show. We going out here, we catching the ball from you. You guys are what brings this show to the next level. So if you don't think that you're appreciated, you are very appreciated, because you even got me preaching tonight. So hey, you definitely appreciate it. You done heard from Reverend Dunn, Reverend Nate, and Reverend E. You done heard some great words tonight. So you guys made this show possible. We just genuinely appreciate. And like Don said, we love and appreciate all of you. We would love to have you guys on here. The Q&A was awesome. We want you guys to continue this, because us together can make this go to the next level. Us together can reach a plethora of people in the near future with these amazing words. And that's all I have to say on it. So we're going to turn it over to the advisor and see what he has to say about
it. As you guys were talking, craziest thing is I'm sitting over here looking up something to say to the viewers and to Kingpin Nation, but I actually have a couple of posters in my man cave, that kind of go along with the topic. I'm gonna say one of them, and then I'm gonna say what I have to say, and I'm gonna turn over to my boy Don. It basically says, watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become actions. Watch your actions before they become habits. Watch your habits before they become character. Watch your character before it becomes your destiny. Basically, what I got from that is it starts with your mental, because your thoughts is what start before you take action or before you put it into the words. So be mindful in how you move with things that are negative, the negative thoughts. And I would definitely say we're on here to help you guys. I pray to God that we can continue to just do what it is he needs us to do as far as helping out our viewers and new viewers and newcomers and anything of that sort. But I definitely, I know for me, breaking generational curses, because generational curses started back when, like Nate said, it started with our great granddaddy, the mental health. They didn't speak on it. They said they were fine, and it passed on down to us. And we're that generation that we have to break the generational curse, because this generational curse right here is very traumatic for Black men alone, because we have a higher number in suicide deaths because of mental health, because of we don't express ourselves, because the judicial system, how we've been treated in that limelight of that matter, work, finances, relationships, somebody cutting you off on 285, you end up doing something that you ain't supposed to do, it turns into something else. So man, it definitely coincides in everything, and I definitely want to keep encouraging you guys, me and my bros, just to keep encouraging you guys to tune in each and every time we have a episode. I hope these words can marinate in y'all spirit, and y'all can take it out, and y'all can go out and break out generational curses. That's the goal for me this year, and I hope that's the goal for you guys, just to attack the mental health and go and get help. Just to, admit to yourself and talk to God. God has marvelous things that He has done for us. We just have to really have a conversation with God. We have to stop being afraid of having the conversation with God. We got to stop running from God, because God really, He's not going to chase you. He's just going to wait till you're done. And when you're done, He's going to be like, are you done? Because over here is the life I already had set up for you before you even came out your mother's womb. So I'm not trying to get into the preaching thing. I let my brothers do that tonight. Let them have that.
Nah, join in. Come on. Come on. It's in you.
Oh man. I got so many things is going on, man. I definitely won't let that dictate, what it is, man. I definitely say get help, man. If it's the first step that you do, admit that you need help, and then find the right person that will help you. And the ultimate answer to that is God, man. God will help you. God is the end all be all to all answers to everything. I definitely would say we as the three brothers, we're here to help you guys. Like Nate said, we're just the coaches. Y'all are the quarterbacks. We got to have a team of people to just do what we do best, man. And I don't know if my bros actually, I want to go ahead and promote Nate's outreach. For y'all that's out there that have any old coats in your closet that has jackets, or want to donate, or want to be a part of something so great that's going to touch so many lives, to help the less fortunate, I would definitely say get in touch with one of us so we can guide you in the right way to get a part of this outreach, because this outreach is something great, and I know it's definitely going to be something this year. I definitely feel like it's going to be the best turnout that it's ever had. And I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for coming on. That's all I have.
I just wanted to go in this comment right here by K. Donaldson. What's going on, sir? Wisdom from three wise men. Truly appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Truly appreciate that. Wisdom from three wise men. I enjoyed this a lot. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want to make sure that you guys are being impacted, and we're just not coming over here feed y'all a lot of BS or a lot of stuff that's made up. But we want to be transparent. I am at the stage now in my life that, I'm going to put it all on the table, because I believe that me personally, my testimony can help somebody else that may be going through what I went through or currently going through, and help them to, get out of that situation. Like I said before, I've truly enjoyed tonight. Tonight has been such a blessing to me. And I know it's been a blessing to both Nate and EJ. And despite what EJ went through prior to getting on this podcast, I just want to commend him personally for pressing his way into doing what he said he was going to do. So I really appreciate that personally. And like he was saying, Nate's is sponsoring an event in the next upcoming weeks, and we stand behind him 100%. Kingpin Nation stands behind him 100% on that. And I already told him personally that I was gonna miss this year because I missed last year, and I told him I was not going to miss this year. So you rest assured that as we out there, we're going to represent Kingpin's Nation, and we're going to go out there and we're going to do what God has laid it on Nate's heart to do, because that's what brothers do. That's what people do in your circle who really care and love about you. They stand behind you and they push you into your vision. They help you with your vision. Just like these two brothers are on here helping with my vision for this podcast. I want to make sure each and every one of their lives that I'm pressing them as well towards their vision, their goals that they have in life. A couple of weeks ago, as I said on the last episode, I'm proud to say that I obtained my CDL permit. All three of us got CDLs now. So so a lot has changed, man. A lot has changed within a year's time. And like Nate was saying, we all in our 30s, and we just look back what has happened, so many years, and we've seen people come and go. But when you have true brotherhood, true friends, true people that wants to see each other succeed, then it's like they don't fade away. It's like it's a bond. So I'm glad. I'm ecstatic about tonight. Like I said, I was excited all day. I couldn't wait to get on here all day. I was excited. No matter what I had to do, I was gonna get on here, and we was gonna do this show for y'all, because like Nate said, we doing this for y'all. We doing this for y'all. We're you guys are the quarterback. Y'all throwing to us. Y'all throwing us ideas. Y'all throwing us topics. Y'all throwing us questions, comments. It's in y'all hands. This is for y'all. This is for you. We cannot stress this enough. All of this that we do is for y'all. This is really for y'all, because if not, nobody else gonna do it, we're gonna do it. Young E just joined the 30 club, put him in the headlock. Done and Nate, I enjoyed this. Oh yeah, we got a good headlock win. Yep, we definitely going to. And I'm glad you enjoyed this, Joe. So I'm glad that everybody has enjoyed this on tonight. We know it's Friday night. Many of us could have been watching SmackDown or a basketball game, could be in a football game or whatnot. But you guys chose to come on here and take a part in this, be involved in this. And this is what we want. This is what we want. And sometimes you just have to put the things that matters the most first. And we have to learn how to prioritize. And I think tonight we've truly done that. We prioritize what we needed to do over what we wanted to do. And so y'all stay tuned, man. We got a lot more great things in store for this podcast. On the next episode, I think I want to do a viewer's choice. I want y'all to come up with a topic for us to talk about, and we're gonna come over here and talk about. I mean, it could be about relationships, it could be about religion, it could be about sports, it could be anything that y'all want. Maybe based on what we get, we're gonna come up with a poll, and we're gonna have people vote on it to see which topic we're gonna talk about next. So we really want to keep this going. We want to really keep this going, and so that's all I had to say. I just love you guys. Love y'all for coming on and being a part of this tonight. It really, really was a blessing.
All right, everyone. Until next time. This is Kingpin's Talk Podcast.
On the Kingpin. Love y'all. Peace.